Hello, everybody. Welcome to CIO Leadership Live. I'm Kirat Attar, Associate Editor at CIO, and I will be your host for this episode. Our guest today is Nikhil Prabhakar, CIO at IndiaMart Intermesh Limited. Nikhil, thank you so much for joining us. It's a pleasure to have you at CIO Leadership Live.
Hi, Kirat. Thank you for having me. The pleasure is mine. Thank you.
Thank you. Nikhil, let's just jump right into it. Can you tell us briefly about IndiaMart Intermesh and about your role and responsibilities as the CIO of the organization?
Sure. Let me introduce IndiaMart. IndiaMart is India's largest B2B marketplace. We started marketplace way back before it became a talk of town a decade or decade and a half back. We started in 1996, just 28 years back, as India's B2B business marketplace. And we started with the mission of making doing business easy.
Yes.
And through this marketplace, we connect all the buyers and suppliers across the country. We with a large focus on micro, small, and medium enterprises. This is more of a digital inclusion of the micro and small enterprises, where we get them digitally active and help them grow their business by meeting the buyers across the country. People from East meet people from West. The buyers from North meet the sellers from South. That's how we kind of bring the inclusion. Going on, let me take over the second question where I'm talking about my responsibility as CIO of
Yes.
IndiaMart.
Yeah.
Being the tech-first organization, the responsibility, for a CIO, the responsibility would be always about how to manage technology. But being a
True.
technology-first organization, the technology team here and I, as a CIO, work hand in glove with business. The business metrics are actually my responsibility as well, as much as that of business. We work together in creating initiatives driven by technology, executed by business teams. How can we help enable business teams to build efficiency, build optimization in their processes? How do we re-engineer some of these processes is where we work. Along with that, providing right analytics, data governance, which is also a big piece that stays with me as CIO. Cybersecurity and performance monitoring also stay. These are largely my responsibilities as CIO of IndiaMart.
Great. Thank you so much, Nikhil. That I think that very neatly encompasses everything that you do. And a particular point that you mentioned, that IT is not siloed for you, that has to be in tandem with everything the business intends to do, is something that I hope that through the course of the interview we'll be able to get to in more detail. Also, when I was looking up the business and of everything I've heard of IndiaMart, I think it's the vastness that was really sort of mind-boggling to me, that how many services are offered, how many products are offered, because that indicates a scope of large inventory and a very sort of robust supply chain as well. So I would like to know, when you're providing so much, what is required from your end, from the technology front, especially when you have millions of users and constantly new ones are being added to the ecosystem. What are some of the ways in which you maintain the robustness of your technological infrastructure, which can handle the traffic, the website, the products, pricing, offer, transactions, and data without loss of performance, without people coming back with complaints?
But very valid question. When I talk about IndiaMart being the largest, let me try to first overwhelm you with some data points on how large we
Please
are,
do.
and then probably let me tell what we do to kind of manage that. We have 20 crore registered buyers on our platform. We have 80 lakh registered sellers who work with us. And between them, there are 13 crore plus inquiries which happen in a quarter. So that's the scale which you're managing. That's the amount of data which floats on the platform. And all of this has to be real time. So while we were scaling, we understood a few years back that to do either horizontal or vertical scaling to manage this environment and make it efficient, it would not be possible, or it'll be really difficult for us to manage everything on-prem.
Yes.
We moved from on-premise to cloud, and we also understood what is the importance of keeping our platform active at all points of time. So we just did not move to cloud. We actually moved to multi-cloud strategy. So we are on your cloud, and we are also backing it up for disaster recovery as well through multi-region.
Okay.
So this kind of helped us, one, solve for availability, 99.99% availability. Our scale easily helps us scale either horizontally or vertically. This also kind of helps us manage multiple geographies quickly. This also provides good reliability for us. But managing infra alone was not good enough.
Yeah.
Because we are also 28-year-old organization, we have seen every technological shift which has happened. I mean, the 95 was when internet started, and we started our business in 96. So every technological shift which has happened in last 28 years, we have
Since the
gone through
internet
that
boom.
shift.
Yeah.
Since the internet boom, we have seen every technological shift.
Yeah.
And while migrating from one technology to another, we realized that at any point of time there are multiple technologies on which we are working in IndiaMart on the same product.
Yeah.
So how do we ensure that does not affect the performance, and how do we decouple different technologies and work on a distributed system? We moved our complete application to SOA based architecture. Microservices and SOA based architecture is where we have moved on. So that kind of helps us keep everything decoupled, easily scalable, resilient to any change. Working on distributed systems, that kind of helps us. Largely because of the scale, there is good amount of data which flows on IndiaMart.
Yeah.
And the data has to be provided for all transactions or all communications in real time. So to increase that pace, we have also ensured that on database, we have adopted PGSQL, Cassandra technologies which are scalable with some optimizations and using methods of sharding or partitioning, which will keep the database flexible. So we have kind of done these 2-3 approaches to ensure that we keep our platform flexible, scalable, and available at all points of time.
All right. Yes, that makes sense. That also addresses something that I wanted to know about your cloud infrastructure. Because like you rightly said, to avoid the instances that even a small like a crash or unavailability of one particular data housing system should not affect the entire system. How do you sort of separate it and make sure that each is independent from the other, which is something that you rightly tackled. Thank you so much for that response, Nikhil. Uh, you know, I think a little bit more I would like to know, especially because the discussions that have been taking place have shown that cybersecurity and the consequent cyber attacks have been improving in sophistication and in the way that they attack people. So much so that something like deepfake can fool somebody who's very rational, not prone to a phishing scam or something like that. So when they sort of essentially, when technology is evolving so rapidly on the front of a hacker or an attacker, how does a legitimate organization then drum up its own cybersecurity system to protect itself, to protect its customers, and to thwart data breaches?
Sure. To add to that point, I mean, whenever there's a breach, whenever there is security mismanagement which has happened, largely a lot of it has happened not because of, or less because of poor technology, and more because of actually poor policies and poor frameworks and actual implementation of it.
That's very intriguing. Can you shed some light on how that happens?
So, I mean, let me just first share, I mean, what we have tried to do, right?
Sure.
First, it is very important to identify what are the right principles and framework on how do you build on what are you trying to protect, and how do you build security on. If we actually agree to it and do not follow it, assuming if you follow the principle of securing or identifying sensitive data. First, as an organization, we identify sensitive data, then try to secure it from respective users. It can be internal users or external users. And the threat is on from both the sides.
Yeah.
And large part of sin, whatever you might have seen, heard externally now, is a lot of breach happens internally. Externally, definitely externally, externally, it is not easy to manage externally as well. But a large chunk of data, when it is breached, it is all breached internally because of internal poor policies. So we're kind of created policies internally for internal users and external users. For internal users, after identifying the sensitive data, what we have done is we have kind of created role-based access control.
Okay.
The role-based access control helps relevant people to get data which is only relevant to them,
To
and
them.
also all the PII, the personal identification information, is all encrypted, masked, and it cannot be visible even by them. Whatever analysis you want to do, whatever understanding you want to have about a process, seller, buyer, procedure, that's without understanding who that person is.
Yes.
Role-based access control, encryption, along with that, protecting our platform, internal platform, is also as important. And we have put a multi-factor authentication even to get an access to it.
Understood.
So that's how we protect internal platform, which will have huge amount of data. But what you see as a marketplace, that also has to be protected. Because
Yes.
I mean, if there are bad actors who are trying to overutilize our resources and create any denial of service to the users, that has to be kind of solved for.
Yeah.
So to do that, what we have done is we have used armors, AI-based armors, who will identify who are probably the bad actors based on different criteria, from their IPs, from number of hits which they are doing, from the repetitive way of trying to fetch data, and block them.
Okay.
Secondary, for all the web-based applications, we have created firewalls to protect our applications from any injection of data which an external bad actor might do. But along with this, we do continuous monitoring as well to ensure that if there is any incident which is a possible incident, then we also take care of that incident real time and do more analysis, because it is a continuous improvement process where while the attackers are improving their technology and methods, we also have to learn through monitoring on how do we improve our ways of blocking them. It is like they level up once and we level up again.
Yeah. I think in cybersecurity and the whole attacker-attackee sort of paradigm, there's always going to be a situation which you've never faced and it happens for the first time. And that will tell you where else there were gaps, which is something I think that world over, despite the most prepared organization, has been in the crosshairs of a scenario like that. Very true. Very true. Thank you so much.
Also manage that, what we do is we also do vulnerability assessment and penetration testing. This kind of also helps us that if there are anything which we have missed, we keep doing our VAPTs regularly so that we understand there's a third party who is trying to tell us these are your possible misses. But yes, even after that, there can be more such incidents.
Yeah, but the vulnerability assessment that does speak to a huge preparedness of of India Mart to try to, I think, control as many variables as possible when it comes to the cybersecurity systems.
Right.
Yeah, true. Moving on from cybersecurity to, I'm sure, a question you probably get in every interaction with anyone from media, internally, externally, and that is on emerging technology and how you feel about it, how India Mart has implemented it. So I particularly am quite intrigued by how India Mart is leveraging AI innovations to redefine the online marketplace scenario, which you've already, I guess, when you started, you redefined it once in this country, and now I think with emerging technology, you have an opportunity to do that again. Can you tell us more about how you're using this to augment your platform experience, augment customer experience? And is there anything particular you've learned in this regard? Any strategies you have to outperform your competitors in this space?
Sure. Though AI is a buzzword now after generative AI in the last couple of years, and lot of it is written and spoken about AI, but we have been adopters of AI much before this buzz started. We have been an AI first company way before now, and every single large process of our platform is AI driven. To give you an example, think of the search and discovery which happens on India Mart. Our buyers are largely 70% of our buyers now from tier 2, 3, 4 cities. And when they are searching something on our platform, presumably they search something called like a lal kurta. So lal kurta is not something which would be part of the catalog. It would be red kurta. The AI understands the intent that lal is actually red and identifies this is the lal kurta. Just for an example, if you have to multilingual search.
Understood. Yeah.
Another option can be like, is it like when people are searching, they do not put right spellings. If it is a patterned shirts, it can be PATERNSHRT. If it is, the AI will identify what is the right context of it and still provide the right result. So
Understood.
AI has been used in search and discovery. That's on the first step. Again, when the matchmaking happens between the buyer and the seller, again, AI is used there to identify the right buyer and seller match by identifying the product, quality, quantity, proximity of what is required,
Yeah.
what is the ratings, reviews, etc. Right?
Correct.
So, and again, AI is used in our conversational commerce, our segmentation, our cataloging. I mean, I can go on with examples.
Yes.
But AI is largely blended so well in our overall ecosystem. And that's given us a lot of advantage in scale. And when you talk about what's our strategy again for increasing our AI adoption, we continuously keep identifying what are those activities or processes which are done at scale and have complexity where a model or an AI can solve for it. And then we slowly start moving it one step at a time by using AI. And we have seen good success at it, though it will not give a result on day one, but with time you will see very, very good results.
Yeah. That sounds really like a very stable way of also adopting the technology, because I think some of the more FOMO driven ways of adopting AI wouldn't pan out for an organization this huge in the long run.
Right. That's true.
That's true. Yeah. Uh, you know, I think through the course of this conversation, I've actually realized that for a company to actually keep seeing the success that it does, a person who's helming the all technological affairs must be aware of what the business needs and how technology can support in that regard, while also probably staying one step ahead and sort of keep their ear to the ground that these technologies are becoming stronger, and this is something we should leverage for an organization, even if the business is not aware of it. So in that way, your responsibility becomes twofold. At one point to stay in the present, at one point to keep an eye on the future. And as a CIO, you are the focal point of the central point of driving digital transformation, because you will initiate the adoption of a lot of new things for India Mart. So I would like to know from your perspective, looking at the future, what does the future of IT look like in the e-commerce industry and for India Mart specifically? And are there any possible challenges that you foresee with technology changing as fast as it does and businesses becoming more vast, expanding further, and the needs of customers also evolving?
Yes. I mean, you are actually touching the right aspects of it. That how do we what you have done is left behind. How do we improve on adopting technology faster, and how do you adopt to new technologies? So as you see, I mean, we have had success with AI for improving our processes, for ensuring better customer experience. We will have to double down on that. The journey till now in e-commerce or largely any other industry has been information technology was used in first automating basic processes. Then cloud computation started, and then multiple geography. How can we connect multiple geographies? How do we identify the scale, etc.? That's where technology was used. Then it was used to provide data analytics, which was a little reactive. Now AI will help us provide real-time predictive analytics to all the users on what all the decision making will happen through UI at some point of time. And we will move towards that step by step. That's one large aspect which we know that is there and will come. Another aspect where I feel is our demography is so varied and vast. So many states, so many languages, so many people across the country using our platform. There we will have to build a very, very customer-centric or improve on our customer centricity by providing a customized experience for different languages, for different geographies, or providing hyper local support. So that again will be driven by AI. So these I feel are two important aspects where AI will be used, and this may not be in terms of new technologies being adopted. It is more of how will we improve the overall experience.
Overall experience. Understood.
But as you mentioned, as you rightly mentioned, what are the challenges? The challenges, like you clearly mentioned it upfront, that technology is changing so rapidly that it is very difficult to identify which one of them you have to even adopt.
That's very true. There's almost too much noise in the technology
much
space. Yeah.
Too much noise and everything. I mean, one new thing is being launched every day. Which one do you adopt is the first question.
Correct.
And once you assume you identify, you wait for it, you wait for the results of some success and then adopt to it. And it has to be a good balance, right? If you wait enough, then you're too late. If you go early, there's a risk of failure. After
Yeah.
creating a balance, you assuming you adopt the technology. The bigger problem is how do you find talent for that?
Very true.
So upskilling the talent and actually reskilling the talent is again, I think, is a big, large challenge which just not India Mart or any e-commerce platform, any technology-based organization will face.
Well, yes.
These, I think, are the two major challenges which I feel, the application technologies and how do you upskill. So these will be big challenges going forward.
Great. Thank you. Thank you so much, Nikhil, for that response. And that does bring me to the end of this interview. I must admit that in the beginning, I had a more sort of an overall perspective of India Mart, but I may not have understood to the depths because maybe I don't fall in the whole, like, the buyers and the sellers that utilize your service. But this conversation has been deeply enlightening in that regard, not only in understanding the business, but also everything that goes beyond what looks like a very simple e-commerce platform, that is to just provide what a person is looking for. So everything that you've mentioned, thank you so much for being so candid about how the technological infrastructure needs to be so robust, everything you do to ensure safety and security of data, everything you do to make it simple for a person, because it's more important for them to know their business than to know English or the right spelling. So the fact that your website is not a roadblock in their dreams and in their goals is definitely inspiring. And thank you so much for everything that India Mart does. Thank you so much for this conversation.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Kira. Thank you so much for having me here to give me a platform to speak more about India Mart and my responsibilities. Thank you so much.
Thank you. And to all of our viewers, thank you so much for watching this episode. Until the next time, this is Kira Tattar signing off from CIO Leadership Live.